So there's 8 piles of hay, including the wheelbarrow. And I just find it interesting myself. I'm always like a student of the horse, and I think it's interesting to observe them during like feeding times. When you have 8 horses, it's probably a good idea to have 9 piles, maybe 10 depending upon your space. But for this herd, it's potential like not all 8 are going to come in here because it's a smaller space, but the more dominant horses will. And that's what I kind of wanted to share, is just the experience of them pushing one another off, and how we can learn by the way they work with each other, how we can learn as humans to interact with them, and have it be a teaching experience rather than a, the whole horse culture, their own culture, and then as humans are bringing our own culture in. And I just feel like we're more impactful and more successful in setting them up for success. And so this is part of that, is just learning each individual, who ranks where, and how they operate in their redirection of the other herd members. So I'm just going to let them in, and then allow them to just do what they do. But maybe there can be a little discussion afterwards. But I do have 4 of them lined up ready to come in. Tilly's already in, because I was working with her. Tilly's our mare that got injured pretty severely a few weeks ago, and was injured again, actually. So I do have a volunteer coming in, so I'm going to go and talk with her for a minute, but I'm going to let you guys observe, okay? Just be mindful that there are some, injured. That's Molly, our lead at the wheelbarrow. That's Phoenix, our other lead, gelding. And then I'm going to walk over and just observe. Rio's coming in. So, I don't know how much you caught there, but very mellow this morning, so it's pretty funny because, of course, I put the camera on and they're all being super chill. Tilly taking off, going, I'm out of here, getting some water. But so who's left? The leads. The leads are left, and Phoenix gained access to the wheelbarrow, which is everyone's favorite. They throw the hay out. They eat all of the little leafy things that fall out. It's a mixed hay. It's an orchard grass, alfalfa. I don't feed them straight alfalfa. It's a real hot food, and it's really way too rich. They don't really need that. And so they still like it the most, so it's sweeter. So they already separate it and create this incredible mess. But I love them so much. So Phoenix, he's 4. He's really big. He's a big boy. That's Phoenix right here. And he is our rescue from an auction lot. He was with his mama. He was 4 to 6 weeks old, limb deformity. And yearling sister was there as well. And mama was pregnant. So we saved 4 lives in that rescue. And with his limb deformity, it was right as COVID hit and things were getting shut down. There was no traveling. And so, first of all, when they come off the auction lot and off the trailer, they're really distraught. They're very confused. They're scared. They're in a new environment, and even if it is a rescue, I find that it's really important to leave them alone for a few days just to let them settle in, kind of get their bearings, understand what's going on, get into the routine, which is like the feeding, people coming into their space for mucking, cleaning up their space, and really showing them that we're going to respect their space and we're going to give them as much time as it takes for them to warm up to us. So with Phoenix's limb deformity, it was kind of a time-sensitive situation, because from the time they're born, I guess 0 to 100 days old, their growth plates are still open, and we can actually make these alterations and encourage his body to self-correct through movement. We opted not to take them to the hospital. It would have been really traumatic for his mama. She was very defensive as well, so it was a little dangerous managing her at first. She warmed up really well, but initially it was very difficult to get our hands on him. And so I sat outside the living quarters for about 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night. And I would do this as a routine and just allow them to investigate me through the paneling. And then I stepped in and I did the same thing. And this took a couple weeks. But then I was able to get my hands on him. We got in contact with a gentleman named Brian Hyodo, and he does confirmation engineering. And so what he's good at and very, very skilled at is Farrier work and the structures. And so he helped us through Zoom, Barefoot Trimmer here in town, Zoom. We did Zoom meetings, and he gave measurements. We gave him measurements. We talked about, did videos and talked about where Phoenix needed the adjustments. We made those adjustments so he could move around the property and self-correct, and he's about 95% straight. He's 4 now, so we're really, really wanting to maintain his safety. He's such a willing partner, but he's really not appropriate for riding until we can see him fully grown and we can kind of navigate how he's going to progress with that knee. And so far so good. Hi Ree, this is Rio. She's our 23-year-old brood mare we rescued off of Craigslist. Hi lady, follow her, she's cute. She's our divine feminine lady. Love her so much. They're all going to the side. So what they're doing right now is, it's so funny that I actually did this with this purpose, and there's not a lot of action going on, which is not normal. But, you know, it's okay. It's good. I'm going to take this thing off. I have a little claw. I'm going to turn the camera so I can see what I'm showing you. And hi. How's everybody? I'm good. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, this is Pregnant Mare Rescue in California. Where are you guys from? We're just out here kind of hanging out on a Saturday. I'm doing wound care on Tilly. Tilly's the sweet little dun mare over here. She's had a severe injury October 4th. She went over paneling and impaled herself, and so that wound's very difficult area on the body. I'm going to turn the camera so you can see her, and I'm going to zoom in on her a little bit. But the wound is right behind that left shoulder, and I'm not going to get too close because it's pretty graphic still. It has to be open to drain, so there's a lot of care going into cleaning it off and maintaining a lot of fly control and keeping the wound just as clean as possible, but also dry. And so the following week, so that initial injury was due to some squirrels piping up, and she was kind of half asleep. She was like sleeping right here under these trees. And on the other side, there's a group of ground squirrels that sounded off, and the dogs came running out, and there was a coyote in our pasture out this way. And so instead of, she really got confused. She came out of that sleep, that nap, and she ran, instead of out this gate here, she ran over those panelings, and she got herself with a capped T-post. I'm really not sure exactly how she did that. I came out of the hay shed after I heard a little bit of squealing and the squirrels chirping. It happened really quick. But anyway, got her to the hospital, and they monitored her and gave her fluids and stitched her up. She came back 3 days later. The stitches blew out. It was really awful. Hi, welcome in to the Pregnant Mare Rescue. None of our horses right now are pregnant. These girls have all had babies except for Tilly. Tilly's 5. She came to us July of last year. She's been with us just over a year, and she is managing PSSM2, which is a metabolic issue. And a lot of it, how that looks symptomatically is almost like an anxiety panic attack, and she has involuntary muscle spasms when she gets really stressed. So anyway, so the following week, as I was saying, after she returned from the hospital, she went over paneling again. This time, another natural thing, a deer got separated from mama and was in the back here on the perimeter fencing trying to get out, and it was bouncing off of the paneling. The horses got really spooked. Tilly was in a stall back there by herself, confined to keep her from moving a lot, which is very difficult to do with a young horse. But she went out the paneling and hurt herself again, and now she's got injury to the right leg. Hi, you know I'm talking about you, huh? Let me get on this side so I can see you in the sun. Let's go here. Funny. There you go. So just getting this girl to heal up and take it easy. She's been doing a lot better now that she's back with the herd. I think being confined and away from the family is a lot more difficult for her. I think for any horse. They really, really do prefer to be in herds. Even if they are, hey, slow it down, bud, thank you. Even if they are in, like I have 3 geriatric horses here, and they all prefer to be out with the herd. They self-manage. Yes, I do see sometimes, like our younger guy, this guy here, he's a little more He's just gotten here in May. This is Tag. And he has some dysregulation stuff going on. He's got a lot of behavioral issues that we're working on. And a lot of it just looks like him kind of going up in energy like this. Very like territorial stallion-like behavior. And for me, just being able to give him some guidance like the horses do. Phoenix is his main instructor. When Tag goes into his dysregulation, or even a little bit of foal stuff, like he's really playful, but but it's also like a very dysfunctional kind of thing, and that is due to trauma. And a lot of trauma can be inflicted on them, even if it doesn't seem like it would affect other horses the same, because they're all individuals. They all have their own, genetic makeup. They have their own experience of the world. Kind of reminds me of kids. Some kids are more sensitive than others. And so when you apply the typical training methods on some of these horses, they don't understand. They get very concerned. I think a lot of that is foundational stuff, like how their foaling went, how their relationship with their dom went. It's damn dom, whatever. But it has a lot of impact on them, their mind. So I have found this just through experiencing it and bringing foals along myself, that we actually bring in these pregnant mares, and they've had a lot of trauma. And it's difficult for some of them, especially if they're like, let's say a Premarin, like if they're coming from a Premarin. Hi, Phoenix, good boy, from that industry. They've had a lot of foals just taken from them, and sorry to share, but they do dispose of them. What they're looking for is the pregnant mare urine, so they don't really need the foal, and it's really sad. I don't know all of the practices of all of those, but I don't promote that at all. I think there are other ways that women for menopause can, if they're well informed, they might find other alternatives. So anyway, we have a lot of mares that will come in with a lot of trauma, and they don't want to, wean from their baby. The babies usually they're pretty clingy as well. I think they're learning that from the mama. So there's so much. Phoenix here, like I said, is 4. His limb deformity was in this left knee. And, it's like the whole, so he was from here down, he was like that. He couldn't even put weight on that leg. He was just such a love. Thank you, baby. Thank you. But he's our lead out here. He's probably had the most, clean and kind upbringing out of all of them, because he's been with us since he was 4 to 6 weeks old off the auction lot with his mama. We did the conformation engineering, trimmed the hoof at an angle so that he would straighten out naturally. The impact and the movement plays a really huge role in that success. It's Molly with her wound. So Molly, I believe, came from the bronc. She's a bronco. Flank belt injury. Won't say much more about that, but yes, she has a lot of fear of humans. So we're working on that, her and I. And we've got Matt. Okay, here he is, being a kid again. So I'm going to ask him to not. Are you going to dress her wound, or he's getting into Tilly's medicine box? He's super sweet, but has these moments where he goes up in energy, and it's quite quick in the reaction to whatever he might be feeling in the moment. So the unpredictability of him is really important to be aware of. So when I have volunteers or people coming out, I do a lot of supporting him and managing him so that they can feel safe and understand him, because I don't want him to be looked at as like a bad horse He's literally such a sweetheart. He's just very, he can become defensive very quickly when he feels vulnerable. He likes to have major control of his environment, and he's never been with a herd. So this is his first time, and it's clearly challenging when someone corrects him or redirects him. He almost acts like a little kid, that's like, don't you correct me, kind of like ego, but you don't have ego. It's just a self-preservation kind of response. And so his is really big. Sometimes you won't even see it in horses. They'll kind of move off and shake their head or move away, kind of pissed off with their ears back. But he literally has tantrums. So he'll like tear stuff apart, go and rip up chairs or pillows. But ultimately, that's not because Tag's a bad horse. It's that Tag's had a really rough start, and he's been sold numerous times and gone from home to home, and different people and different handlers, and it can be really confusing, especially if people aren't real sure of how to manage a horse with his behaviors. They just increasingly get worse, and they become his normal. I describe him sometimes as like a punk rocker, like at a Kenny G concert, and he's just completely out of his element, and he's like, screw this stuff, this is not me. But that's what he reminds me of. And I also think sometimes he's, he acts like a 2-year-old child. He tantrums out and just doesn't want to be told what to do or how to do things. Even if it is good for him and the best thing for him, the safest thing, he still has this attitude. And so as we work through these moments, which I try to capture as often as I can when I'm here, I'm really present to him and the herd. I also want to make sure that the herd knows that I'm here and that I get it. And if I see any kind of, there's some of it. Now, for me, I will share with you, he's sorting the mares. That's what stallions do. He's moving her from Phoenix. That's his. He's wanting to gain control of Tilly, who's the dun that I was just talking about that got injured, and Malika, the buckskin. So what I believe is Tag's probably been bred. He has that on board. Even if he's gelded now, if they've had the experience, it anchors in the body. It also reminds me of when, I'm going to say this, addicts, if you get addicted to a certain thing, it makes you feel better, it makes you feel more powerful, right? It's a dopamine rush, basically. So when he's actually out and he's getting upset and dysregulated, he'll go and mount. And usually it's not like, the mares are brood mares, so they know, they feel and sense him, and that's what they've done all their life is made babies. He can't reproduce, thank God, but he is actually performing the act, but it's not really to make baby, it's to make himself feel in control and more powerful, because he feels vulnerable and unstable. He's not really clear on his place in the moment. And I don't see that as something he's really thinking about. It's his body. He's just responding to these different adrenaline rushes and these fearful experiences he's probably had, and he just reacts. So in those moments, the calmer I can be as the human here and be that place where he can come over and say, hey, I'm not feeling so good, which he does quite often if he can catch himself. And I've seen it before. It's really beautiful. So he'll be in one of those, like where he just ran the girls out. He'll be in that moment. He'll come running right over to me, and he'll talk to me for a minute, and he'll kind of nip at me and let me know he's not happy with how things just played out. But we can get to a place where he can actually quiet down. He'll lick and chew. He'll feel like, you can tell he's going back into the parasympathetic nervous system. So he's getting regulated. And I don't believe I'm doing that for him. I'm just supporting him to do it himself, because that's really what we're here for. It's not to shape and mold them into something. It's really just to help. The geese are in agreement with me, I think. I think they're going to get fed. So also the chewing on things too can be really indicative of like teeth pain. But for him, I think it's also teeth pain, but I think he came in with ulcers, and a lot of those habits, like horses will crib, they'll chew on fencing and stuff. It's almost like a boredom thing, but it's also a anxiety thing. And so he will really gnaw on things, chew on things. He'll also play. So there's a difference. It's not easy to notice. Like, you have to really know him to know when he's in his dysregulated state and then when he's in his playful state. He's been working on playing with Phoenix. Phoenix will play a little bit with him, but Phoenix is also very attuned to his shift in energy. So it can go from play for tag into that dysregulated state, and then he goes into the reacting to whatever it is stimulating him. And Phoenix will redirect him. The tag will have to figure that out and work it out on his own. And then he's always welcome to come back to the herd and hang with them in this rest digest state. So he's always welcome, but he has to maintain that congruency. Like, there's this calm, collected, cool way they're vibing, right? And if you're like stepping out of that vibe, you're potentially putting the herd at risk. As far as I feel, this is how the herd works. There's a etiquette, right? There's like a herd etiquette. There's another wonderful woman out there, Carolyn Resnick. She does Liberty, and she's amazing. She spent a lot of time with wild herds and has coined, I think, the phrase code of conduct. That's how she labels it. And then as humans, we come into, there he goes, taking her back out. Phoenix came over to me. Do you need a belly rub? Do you need belly scratches? Yeah, I can do that for you, Pumpkin. I'm going to do some scratching on his belly right now. So we still are getting ticks, and it really bothers Phoenix. Okay, I'm trying to watch both of you. Their little eyes tearing up. So they've destroyed all of their masks. They love the fly masks, but they've destroyed them. So there's none that fit these boys. I don't have any that fit the boys. I don't know if you want to go to the website. I have it in my profile, and you guys can donate. We need fly masks. We're almost out of the season. So I am taking care of their eyes. But man, getting the good masks, they're like $20 a piece. 8 horses, $160. But, Phoenix, as the baby that he is, he really enjoys playing with stuff as well, because he is feeding. I hate these chairs. Let's go away from the chairs. I don't mind that I'm in here with you, but it kind of makes me nervous when you go over to him like that. But he's teething. He'll be teething until he's 5 or 6 years old. And so he's getting all of these big cheek teeth. They're grinding. Yeah. Oh, okay. He's like, stop talking about my teeth and get to work, lady. Stretch my belly. I know. Your neck's so thick you can't even reach back there, buddy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so Phoenix is considered a blue roan. What's this? Who is that? How do you say that? JC? Gimmick, a shout out. Hi, everybody. Oh, you love horses. Right on. Yeah. I'm working on getting like a little membership going here on YouTube, so I can do like some private sessions and stuff with people, and really kind of get to the brass tacks here. He's just gonna eat. But yes, so Phoenix is considered a blue roan. He changes color all year round, and right now he's got these dapples. Almost looks like Appaloosa, but he is blue roan. And then he's got this graying face, and then he, during the winter, will get like a whole gray back, and I call him the silverback gorilla of the horse world. He's kind of massive too. But anyway, so like I was saying, I have older horses, so the the paint over there. I'm going to go out and say hello to her. She's 32. She'll be 33 this next month. She'll be 33. Her name is Harmony, and she is our number one dominant mare here. She was a brood mare for years. Retained her placenta. I believe she was like close to 20 years old. Sometimes I don't get the story. Actually, I don't, but this mare, she's got her little fly mask on. Hi, can I get that little thing out of your eye? There. So she can see through this. It's like a screen door, but it protects her eyes. Somehow the older horses tend to really get gooey eyes. There's probably immune system stuff, but so she's got major arthritis in the front legs. So she's a geriatric. I get her feet trimmed often. When I found her, when I first noticed some neglect going on with her at the ranch I was feeding at, I noticed that she was up to knee-deep poop, mud, along with two other mares. And so I pleaded to the owners of the ranch, can I take them, put them in the stalls, and get their feet right? It turned out that they all had abscesses in one or two of their feet, all of them. And so it took me about a month to get them cleaned up enough to get them back into their pasture. It dried out, so they were back to a better environment, and I was caring for all three. The other two, unfortunately, passed away. One from an impaction. She was 34. The other was 28, I believe, and she had bone cancer in her jaw. So they all did live long lives. However, the tail end, the humans became kind of compromised in their health, and family wasn't really interested in taking care of the horses. So I stepped in and started taking care of Harmony here full time about 6 years ago. And then she came to the rescue here at the Pregnant Mare Rescue, and they had space. They were able to take her in and provide her sanctuary. So she is here for the remainder of her life. But yeah, she's a nice, beautiful, beautiful girl. 33. And then this again is Rio. And then we have Tilly come in, and Tag is dysregulated again. So let's see what he's doing. He just chased off Majesty. Hi, Tag. You want to leave the big boy alone? Thank you. Hi, honey. You're so gimpy, baby. It'll get better, okay? Hi, handsome man. What's going on? So, okay, so this is our other geriatric. So this is Majesty. He is 31, turning 32 this year. And he has an abscess in the hind left. And he also has DSLD, which is a degenerative disease. It's a Pasifino. He was used for Charro dancing. And when he broke down and was no longer able to perform, he was taken to auction. Another woman had rescued him, brought him home, and found out that he was extraordinarily skittish, and she could hardly do anything with him. And that can happen. They could be sedated or, comfortable at the auction lot, but then when you get them home and you get them in an environment where they might feel like, okay, I can finally let down my guard, all of this stuff starts to surface. And so when I met him, I couldn't halter him. He was terrified, trembling in a corner of his pen, one shoe on. So we took him on, and that was again 6 years ago. He was at the same place as Harmony, the paint here. Hi, handsome man. So he has very few teeth, and what I do for Madge every day is he gets 4 meals a day. I don't particularly care for grains, but when it comes to, horses that don't have good teeth and they need the forage, I do love to be able to provide them some form of forage, even if it's through pellets. I tried it as a mash, and he's like, get this crap away from me. It's like, what is this, porridge? I don't eat that crap. I'm still a man. Huh. Come on in, bub. But super, super scared. So I intentionally leave a smaller space for him to walk through. Good job, buddy. Good job. Yeah. Unfortunately, the degenerative disease in the back legs, I'll share with you if you are aware of this. What happens is the fetlock, so he doesn't have the boot on anymore, but the fetlock drops. And so there's no longer any elasticity. Oh, baby guy. He's got Cushing, so his hair is super, super long. And this time of year, he starts to really grow a lot of hair, grow a lot of hoof. It's part of the symptoms of the Cushings. So we just do our best to keep him as comfortable as possible. And he's quite the man. He's like got some spunk. And I really just love him. But muscle atrophy is also part of the Cushing's. So I'm going to get him his second dose. Oh, this is your second dose of grain spunk. And I'll be right back. Yeah, really, really important that he gets the nutrients he needs. We're going into winter. He'll be stalled for most of the rainy days, and then he'll also be blanketed. He'll also be let out during the good times of the day so he can move about with the herd. It can stress him out if they go out to the trees and they're not near him. He gets really worried. I'm going to set my phone down right here so you guys can still see that I'm going to get his grain. This will stay. For the weird movements and stuff, but I don't have. It's hot. So this is he has it's a low carb senior. There's a regular senior, just a tiny bit of that. You can see there's like just, I don't know if you can see it, but they're really small pellet size, so they're very easy for him to break down. Like I said, he does not like mash. He throws it around and he says, "Get the hell away from me. I'm not that old." And he gets to eat his little grains in private. And again, that mask is easy for him to see through. It's like a screen door and it protects his eyes from the flies. And same with Rio. She's got the bug eye one. Yeah, and these I have to clean them often because they're still going to get goo on their eyes, but at least the flies aren't landing and bringing bacteria into the eyeball, which can cause, I don't know if any of you are familiar, but it can cause moon blindness, especially if there's cattle nearby. We luckily don't have any cattle near here, but it doesn't mean like flies aren't, making their way around. We definitely have them in the county and in the city, so, city, rural areas. But, yeah, and that's a really awful thing to happen. They do actually go blind. It's painful. I'm not sure, we don't know exactly, it's definitely not like glaucoma, but it is definitely painful. I'm gonna go this way. Can you show your face this way, honey? Can you turn around so we can see you? Love you. But it burrows into the eye, and it really does create some problems. So Rio did come to us with that in her eye, so I really like to keep, that's Rio, I like to keep the mask on her as often as possible. It is itchy, but those are the best ones. I like that they can really see through the mesh. This Chili has the one. These are the only two girls these masks fit. All the other masks are. They're so cute. Love you. But yeah, so the rescue has been around for 18 years. Almost 4 years ago, we moved out to this pasture, so we leased this 8 acres here for the herd. We're working on getting another one of these shelters. We got a grant, thank God. So we'll get a second one that's going to be put on these mats, over these mats, which will be extremely helpful. We get really, really intense winds out here, probably 80-mile-an-hour winds, I guess because we're kind of on a plateau here. But the winds come off the shore is so intense. but we lost shelters one year, and so we had to actually upgrade and really get more solid structures out here to keep these guys covered. They really do prefer to be with one another as well. I think that's just a herd thing. They really prefer not to be separated. And if they are separated, I am actually removing some of the boards that act as windbreak in the back. Actually, way more stressful to have those up and them not be able to see each other. So I do plan to remove a couple of the boards just to make it a little easier for them. But they'll be easily able to fit the 8 horses underneath. However, you have personalities, and you have the hierarchy, you have the different ranking. So many a times we get our elders are left out in the cold, so we don't allow that. We put them in the stalls and keep them covered. Why do you use this as a chew toy? That's not a chew toy. It's a seat. It's a seat for me. So I love sitting down with them. But yeah, so Tag and Phoenix are really becoming bonded. It's great. Phoenix lost his best friend and lead gelding, Leo, in April. Oh, I know. We're so heartbroken over that loss. You want me to talk about it? Are you upset that I'm talking about Leo? We need to keep him alive, buddy. That's how we do it. We talk about, hey. I know. Let me give you scratches. Phoenix has got a really very communicative way about him. He's learned that, I listen, and I won't shut him down on things that he's asking, but I may have to shift things around and say, well, let's compromise. Let's do it this way or that way, maintaining safety and also just good positive behavior so that he's safe to be around. I have little kids that come out. I have 6-year-old, 12-year-old, 6 to 12. I have a few kids that come out, and Phoenix has been a really, really amazing teacher for self-awareness. He's super great to lead. He can be haltered even by little kids. He'll hang his head low for them. He's just a really well-developed, got a great mind. Just love him. He's so cool. But 4 years old, snore head, snore sleep, snore head down. Hi, I'm new. Hi, welcome. Is it Taryn? Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome in, you guys. It's so good to have you here on a Saturday with the Pregnant Mare Rescue herd. So we have 5 mares, and then we have 3 geldings. Even though the Pregnant Mare Rescue was developed to save the pregnant mares at auctions that were going to slaughter, we have found that in the community we've had a lot of people that have needed a safe haven for their horse. Things happen where they, their life changes, divorce, bankruptcy, health issues. Those are a few of the things that have come up for us, and we've brought in horses through owner surrender, and we maintain their safety for as long as they're here. Sometimes, on a rare occasion, the horse is appropriate for rehoming, but most of the time, based on age and whatnot, their riding career is over. They have a lot of, health issues that have arose in their later years. So it's more appropriate for us to just keep them comfortable, and they end up becoming really, really amazing members of the herd that help us provide meditations. We have meditations for the veterans that are suffering from PTSD. A gentleman named Charlie Jenks, he started a foundation called Connecting Veterans to Horses. Super cool. And so we come out here and we put chairs out in the pasture, and the horses come around and they just hang with us, and we get to love and get to know them. We do a little qigong, little body movements, always really good to kind of get settled, grounded into our body, and then prepare and kind of just be in the environment. It's really beautiful. These two. So Molly, this is Molly, she became Phoenix's surrogate. Phoenix's mom, as I was telling you guys in the beginning, it was him, his mom, he was 4 to 6 weeks old, his mama, and his yearling sister were at an auction, and he had the limb deformity. That left leg was 40-degree angle from the knee down. Couldn't put weight on it. We did confirmation engineering for him. He's now 95% straight, but he does have some calcification and he has some fluid. And that also could be from a lot of the wear and tear that he's experienced out here during some of the storms. We've had 3 really big storms out here. He moved out here when he was just a year old. And anyway, his mama, we'd saved his yearling sister. She looks identical to him. And we noticed that Snow, his mama, was weaning him, and he was 4 months old, and I was a little concerned because most of our mares will continue to, nurse as long as, we usually don't even geld the colts until they're a year or older because we just like them to have the time to develop. I think it's really important that they have some time to develop before we castrate. That was your first birthday. That was not very nice, I know, but we had to do that. It kind of protects you, and we didn't want although you're very gorgeous. Sure, that's why your mama was a breeder, was one of the breeders producing mares, but anyway, so his mama was weaning him, and I noticed that she was getting quite tired. I thought, okay, she's probably pregnant. She was untouchable at the time. She was very defensive off of the auction lot, and rightfully so. Many of the breeders don't really do a lot of handling of the mares. So they don't know a whole heck of a lot, but I was able to halter Snow eventually. But initially, just in the beginning phases, he was 4 months old and he was getting the limb deformity handled. We were trimming his hoof regularly, and all hooves, but his left foot was getting that special angle put on it so he could straighten. But Molly became his surrogate. So I put him out with Molly and Leo, who you might see some videos of. Leo is our big warm blood that he always had a lot of gas, but it was always funny because it was usually when we're doing like some kind of relaxation. I do a lot of Reiki. I do a little bit. I haven't been trained by any of the, what's his name? It's really good. I'll remember it in a minute, but just a lot of energy work. And so anyway, I put him out with Leo and Molly so that they could continue his education as a baby and give his mama a break. And then mama would let me know. Mama would kind of take a nap and chill for a while and move about on another piece of our property. And I would, it was really quiet. They would never cry for one another. I just noticed when they were ready. And so I would return Phoenix when he'd show me he was ready, or I'd return him when mama said she was ready to have him back. And that process went on until she had her third baby in 3 years. I think it's common in the breeding world. I think the mare goes through their first heat after they foaled, maybe in the first week, and then they'll either impregnate them and I don't know how they operate or the practices, but that's what I notice in the rescue world. That's been the common practice. And so anyway, so he has developed a great bond with Molly and Rio as well. Rio likes to push him around, and I think he enjoys that. He likes to have some good solid guidance. I think they all do. I think it's really important, whether they're in a herd, but even with us humans, I think it's important that we are very firm but fair, and that we learn how they communicate, what it is that works for them, what doesn't work for them. We set them up for success, get them in the proper situation that's going to give them the learning that they require without force. and without coercion or fearful tactics. So anyway, I'm going to get back to work. I just wanted to get on here and share this interesting thing that didn't really happen. It's really fun. Normally they are really engaged and they kind of push each other around, but today they're pretty mellow, so that's a good thing. It's nice. It's a nice warm Saturday. I hope wherever you are, you guys have good weather and that you guys are safe and that you're enjoying your life and that you're taking good care of yourselves. And yes, we here at Pregnant Mare Rescue are all about self-care and also being very present to those around us so we can be of service wherever possible. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope to see you next time when you tune in. Have a wonderful Saturday and have a safe Halloween. All right.